What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Lineman Life Live. It is Monday. My goodness, what a weekend of football it was. I mean, have you ever seen anything as crazy as that weekend, Justin?
It's been a long time. I can't remember a weekend. No, I don't think I could say I've seen
Nothing,
anything
right?
that.
Like, I cannot remember
Like 4 for 4
a weekend.
great fucking games.
A weekend in sports as strong as we just had, a weekend in football as strong as we just had. I don't think there's ever been one this strong where literally every game came down to the very last play. And
Yeah, but say
I mean,
all 4 were walk-offs, weren't they?
all 4 were walk-offs.
3 field goals and a touchdown.
One with a slight bit of controversy, which we'll get to that as well. But nothing that we can't handle here on Lineman Life Live. We appreciate y'all being here with us. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Just quickly before we get started, we were scheduled to have comedian / actress and Rams superfan Kate Quigley. She's supposed to come on with us tonight. She had an emergency that she had to deal with, so she will be rescheduling to come back on with us again. No problem there. She's pretty awesome lady. Been talking back and forth with her for probably the last, I don't know, year and a half. So she's pretty cool. Definitely a big football fan. So we'll look forward to having her back on when she can make it. Hoping all the best for her and handling her situation that she's dealing with now. So with that being said, let's get into these games, man, because we got a doozy. First up, Cincinnati goes into Tennessee. This one, I think, there are a lot of people who chose Tennessee, who saw Tennessee as being this kind of sleeping giant with Derrick Henry out. And with the King being out the whole second half of the season and them still securing the number 1 seed, I think that a lot of people had some assumptions about what would happen in this game. And the Bengals took notice. And the Bengals decided they was going to bring a little bit of that juju with them from Cincinnati. Now, this was the one game that I predicted the Tennessee Titans would take this one. So I was off on that. Ootstradamus was off on that. The ghosts of future past that come to me and show me what's going to happen. They misguided me on that one. So we off on that. But the Bengals go into Tennessee. And let me pull this up because I want to kind of, I want to go through this one by one here. One by one. Let's see, which one is it? Here we go. We all know how they ended, but won't hurt to take another quick look. Bengals tied 16-16, walk-off field goal to win it.
Trying to kick the Bengals into the AFC Championship.
And they are successful in doing so. Oops. They get the kickoff. They're successful in taking the win in Tennessee, shocking the Titans. Now, as I watch this game, I can tell you right now, the Titans did not look nearly as crisp as one would have hoped they would have been, and I keep telling people this, through the course of the weekend. I said this a lot on Twitter. I said, these first round buys are not the gift that everyone thinks that it is. Now, for a team that was injured like the Titans were, it's a good opportunity to get healthy, to get some guys back. AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, key pieces were able to get healthy, were able to get back in the lineup. And, you would have thought that would have given them the edge that they needed, but they were unable to really build any kind of consistency on offense. The run game was, the run game didn't really provide the sparks that you would hope. They had one really long run by I think their backup. I can't remember his name at the moment.
Foreman.
But what's his name?
Deontay Foreman.
Deontay Foreman. Okay.
think.
But
I could
it
do
was a very odd game, because then on the flip side of that, Joe Burrow was getting absolutely gangbanged
Dog,
by that Titans D line.
I saw a fucking meme.
Oh, was it mine?
It might have been. It said like, here's a picture of the Bengals O-line, and it was just the Titans front four lined up on air.
Oh, dude, hold on. Let me pull up mine. Let me pull up the one that I put on there, because it was hilarious. People got kind of mad at me for it, but I mean, I thought it was funny as shit. Let me see here. Because, I mean, this is what it was to me. I was watching the game, and I'm like, geez, are these guys going to block for Joe Burrow at any point in this game?
I missed about the first quarter, and I got a couple coach buddies. We got a group thread. They were like,
yeah, group
this
thread.
is the worst start I've ever seen. And I'm expecting like a 21-0 score or something crazy. And it's just, I think it was 3-0 or 3-3, maybe even, scoreless at the point. I was like, what's so bad about this? They're like, no. They are getting after Joe Burrow's ass.
I mean, their defensive line looked so good against Cincinnati. Now, everybody kind of knows that Cincinnati, well, most people who keep up with football know that Cincinnati has had issues with their offensive line, and it's been that way for a while. A lot of people thought they should have taken, including myself, thought they should have taken an offensive tackle instead of Chase at wide receiver. But, that is, hey, having a guy who can get open fast is kind of, help nullify some of the problems they were having. But let me, as soon as I can pull this thing up, where is up? Here we go. Boom. This was my tweet. Oh, God. This was my tweet for the way that these Bengals were giving it up to these Tennessee Titans. This is what it looked like.
Wow.
This was what it was. This is how big the problem was
for
these Cincinnati Bengals on their offensive line going up against these Tennessee Titans. This is what it looked like. It looked like one of these. You know what I mean? That's how, dude, and I'm telling you, 9 sacks in the playoffs. Playoffs. I mean, it was rough. It was rough for them boys. It was rough, but Cincinnati stayed the course. Cincinnati's defense played great ball, and they were able to hold the Titans, from really getting out of control, because it was not looking good the way that they were getting to Joe Burrow. A couple of times, one time it looked like he got injured. So there was that. But
he's a tough kid. I can't take anything
absolutely. He's a tough kid. He's got great confidence. They came into that game, and they really, brought everything they could. They left it all out on the field. Now for the Titans, I don't know. The Titans relied on the things that they've always relied on. But I think, it's hard to get those things it's hard to have those things be successful when you don't have consistency. And I mean, for me, for one, watching them play, I watched the offensive line. I'm sure just like you watched the offensive line. And I mean, look, I don't care what nobody thinks. Taylor Lewan is trash to me. That cat is trash. I watched him get bullied in pass protection, knocked into Ryan Tannehill's on multiple occasions, like guys reaching for the back of Tannehill's jersey, reaching for his arm, due to pressure from him. I watched him mishandle a game, passing a game off. And, it just was really not, there was never a time when Ryan Tannehill was comfortable in the pocket. And some people will say, hey, Ryan Tannehill, he's, how much better than Carson Wentz is he? And I'm like, he's way better than Carson Wentz, but
Carson Wentz was watching from home.
You know what I mean? That's why that's why they're number 1 seed. This guy is a quarterback who plays in a very specific way. He's a prototypical pocket passer. He's going to need protection, but he can deliver strikes from the play action because of the run game. And he does that, often. And it just didn't play out. Just didn't happen the way that they needed it to happen going against the Bengals on Sunday. But congratulations to the Bengals fans. I know Flemlo raps completely. He's got to be ecstatic about this. They're moving on to the AFC Championship game, and they'll be playing against the Chiefs. Now, this next game made a lot of people sick to their stomach. And it's not even like you won't even know which one I'm talking about till I pull it up, because that's how good all these damn games were. But let me just start off with this.
Any of the games this weekend.
You know what I mean? It could be any game, right? But I think that this is a good way to kind of start this off so that you can get an understanding about where I'm going with this.
You got knocked the out.
Oh, you want something to do over there? Huh?
Get off in this car, boy. I don't know why you come down here messing with these people.
So, as you can see, the Green Bay Packers are now eliminated from the playoffs. This is probably easily the biggest disappointment for fans of the Packers that they will probably have to deal with over the next half century, because this was supposed to be, this was set up to be a Green Bay Packers kind of game. Playing in the snow, Lambeau Field,
frozen tundra.
The frozen tundra was supposed to be the layer of the Packers in which nobody goes in there and walks away with the victory. And just like other teams in this week,
was down the middle,
right down the middle.
Walk off,
win it.
Good as gold. Niners advance.
Yeah, I think
this
talked some shit the last time these two played. He said something about, we got to get this back at home. It's different playing in the 20-degree weather and blah blah blah. And then they got what they asked for, and still
Green
stung up
Bay
the joint.
got everything they asked for.
Still stung up the joint.
Everything was lined up for Green Bay to win this. Everything.
Put up a measly 10 points.
And they put up 10 points. And I heard somebody say something about, and of course, there's going to be tons of discussion about Aaron Rodgers and his situation with the team. But I heard somebody say something about Aaron Rodgers that now when I think about it, it kind of makes sense. And this is, and I don't know whether or not this is a knock on Rodgers. I don't know. I think it can be a knock against him if you want to look at it that way. But Aaron Rodgers is a QBR kind of quarterback. He's a quarterback who takes a huge amount of pride in his QBR and the fact that he doesn't throw interceptions. And to a fault, it felt like he was trying to protect that QBR over actually taking risks that needed to be taken in order to try and will his team to a win.
Bam.
He threw up, he played the game not to lose, it felt like, more than he played to win the game. And I mean, if you go back and watch the game, I think there's a little bit of truth to that. I think there is a little bit of truth to that. He did kind of take on this game and play it to try not to lose it, to try not to make a big mistake, to try not to have himself in a situation where, it was on him that they had fell behind. But in doing so, the fact that he played conservative the way he did, that was the mistake. That was what will fall on his shoulders. He was more concerned about not tarnishing his statistics and didn't pay attention to prioritizing actually just leading the team. Interceptions, incompletions be damned. He was protecting his QBR. And
the opposite
and
of Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. I mean, you look at, and I mean, how do you see it? I mean, that game it just didn't feel like a game where it didn't feel like a Packers game. It didn't feel like a Packers team.
It really didn't. I know they, at one point, I think, what's Dillon's for? AJ Dillon, I think is his name. The running back went down. I mean, I don't want to hang anything on him, but I mean, not having, success on the ground and in the air, I don't know if it was just too much on his shoulders. And then, like you said, not wanting to really air it out and take those chances. I never really considered it that way. But he certainly is a guy that has, stellar statistics for his career. I mean, far and away the best touchdown to interception ratio. I mean, I think he has the same number of, he surpassed Brett Favre in touchdowns, but had like a quarter of the interceptions for his career. So he's clearly cognizant of those things. But I mean, one chip.
It felt like
one chip. It's like something.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing for a chip, dude. This is supposed to be the last dance. This was supposed to be their last dance. This is why he came back. This was the mission they were on. This is what he pronounced, to the world after the drama in Green Bay, that this was what, he got the Green Bay Packers to bring back Randall Cobb. He actually bent the franchise to his will, literally.
Yeah, he had him over a fucking barrel this whole offseason.
He bent them to his will, and literally, when the chips were all in, when all the chips were down, he played like a game manager. He played like he was Jimmy Garoppolo, trying not to make a mistake. While you see Jimmy G on the other side, man, he damn near threw an interception on every pass he threw.
Hey, one thing we know about Jimmy, I mean, say what you will, he's not afraid to throw that bitch out there.
He was gunning it, man. I mean, he wasn't really, it wasn't like he was, wasn't like he was just taking over, but the dude was throwing balls to places. And I mean, it was like, bro, if you don't throw that perfectly, that shit is picked. And he would throw it perfectly.
Wait, let me just try this triple coverage. See what happens.
He said, man, let me throw it at this breaking cornerback who's breaking on the route right now.
Feast or
but
famine.
It's crazy because that was a big shift away from what I'd seen how Green Bay played all season long. This is a team that you would just watch Aaron Rodgers carve up the secondary, chunks at a time. And it looked that way in the first 3 plays. But if you also look at the statistics, he only threw the ball to one person. Devontae Adams. He only threw it to one person.
Guilty.
He did not throw it to anybody else.
Yeah, they've really been missing. Was it Tunyon, the tight end?
Tunyon. They just got back Cobb. He didn't factor into the game at all.
That was his guy.
That's supposed to be his safety net.
Made the Packers go get Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
And then don't even use him.
I mean, how do you look? How does your legacy look in Green Bay when you have a situation like this where you weren't able to actually you weren't able to even get back to the conference championship,
not getting past one game,
one and done. And look, Stradamus isn't going to toot his horn too hard. I'm gonna wait till Wednesday to do that. But I predicted this.
Yeah, you sure enough did.
I said it. I said, hey, y'all think Green Bay got it? Y'all can't see them being one and done. I said, shit, San Francisco's about to shock the world. And that they did. Now, when it counted, Jimmy G led his team straight down the field. And he completed passes to George Kittle, got him the ball in midfield, got him past midfield, and then Debo carried him on 3rd and 7, carried him for the first down to set up the game winner, set up the walk-off. And, I said it during the game. I said, Green Bay is letting these guys hang around. We know what happens when you let a team hang around. You're going to lose.
Almost every time.
Almost every time. You are going to take the L. And not only in losing this game did Aaron Rodgers kind of, add a big kind of question mark about what his legacy will truly be outside of a, let's say, regular season guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does he stack up against the GOATs? Montana got 4 Super Bowls.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Got 3. Brady got, well, to be continued.
Brady got 7. You know what I
counting.
mean? Like, shit.
And none of those guys have, the kind of stats that A-Rod has, except.
And none of them have his stats. But what do stats mean when you ain't got rings?
So it's, just like I was saying earlier, it's like, oh man, Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for a whole year 2 times. Like, where the rings at?
Where's his rings? Now, the question is, like, was it really all on Aaron that they won in 2010, or was that Mike McCarthy's doing?
Well, I don't think that's the case.
Or was it the Steelers just having a bad game? Like,
or maybe it was Greg Jennings putting the team on his back door.
Greg Jennings, he balled to the wall in that game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the jury is out and they're in deliberation. Moving forward, if he stays put, I'm not sure. Obviously they're going to try to franchise Devontae or sign him to a long-term deal somehow. I don't know how their cap's looking. Hopefully Dave Bakhtiari can stay healthy for a whole season. And they were missing a couple pieces on defense.
Bakhtiari's another guy that they lost. They thought they were going to have him back. He played in the last game of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
He came back for like a half in one game, and then I think didn't play anymore.
What was his injury to begin with?
I think it was an ACL, but I could be wrong. I could very easily be wrong.
If you guys know, let me know what was his injury. I know he's been out for a minute.
And then was it Darius Smith came back, the edge rusher, Jair Alexander.
Darius Smith, he came.
They had a bunch of cats out.
Factored in early. He factored in early.
But this is football. Hell, if you want to, not deal with injuries, go play golf. Or, well, shit, look at Tiger.
He blew his shit out too. Just walking. Shit. But
everyone's got to deal with injuries, so that's not a great excuse.
Everybody's dealing with injuries, yeah, absolutely. So it's not like there's nothing special about that. But I think it's just a huge, huge, huge letdown, and you have to take that on your shoulders if you're Aaron Rodgers, because everybody put their shit on hold for you in that franchise. Everybody did, and you let him down.
This is how you pay him back. This is how you pay him back. Now I'm curious, to go back and look at his stats throughout his other playoff runs and see how, his stats there compare to regular seasons, to see if he was really that much more conservative and nut cutting time. I'm not the
man. The internet is undefeated. Let me go through here and see if I can find something that.
If there's really something to that, and there might be, hell, that might be why he's, 1 in whatever in the playoffs.
Look, Blake Bortles.
Anytime you're in the Sims with that man, it can't be good.
He got more wins than you got in the playoffs. Oh, no, they have the same amount of playoff wins.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, my God. Are you serious? Since 2017, Blake Bortles has the same amount of playoff wins as Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
That is
it 1? Did they go past the wild card? Okay.
I think 2.
2? Oh, okay.
Wait. I don't know. I know that
either way,
Jacksonville never had the number 1 seed in 2017. So they won against Buffalo at home, and then they won against Pittsburgh, and then they lost to New England. So he has 2.
Okay. And I didn't mean to disrespect the man. For Aaron Rodgers, you don't want to be lumped in a sentence with Blake Bortles. For mere mortals,
that shouldn't happen.
For mere mortals, he's an amazing athlete that you'll probably never, be on the same level as. But for Aaron Rodgers, who we talk about as if he's, the second coming, I kind of expect a little more.
I mean,
all the shit he talked all year.
I mean, I think this damages even like Aaron Rodgers' place as like, because I mean, come on, let's be real. You can't compare this cat to Tom Brady. There's no comparison to be made there.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm
and
not
I've
sure
heard
who you
people
can
make that
compare to
argument
Tom.
that he's a better quarterback than Tom Brady. I'm like, no.
Like, why?
No.
Why would you say that?
Why would you even think that's something
What is
that's
the
a valid
main
comparison
function
to run off?
What is the main function of a quarterback? To win games.
Yeah. So while he keeps his QBR or whatever it may be,
we're not out here to win QBR battles.
Nobody really cares about that when you ain't winning the games.
Yeah, like it's great. I mean, playoff games. Stacking up all type of regular season wins, but that's not what we're out here for. Out here for either. I mean, tell me who's won the
shame.
What's the starting pitcher with the most regular season wins
got
ever?
The most strikes?
Or,
who's got the most innings without giving up a home run?
All these stupid.
But he gave up a ton of RBIs though.
All these stupid ass stats that don't equal championships.
Oh my goodness!
And at the position that affects the game more so than any other in professional sports. I could maybe say the pitcher in baseball, but they're only out there.
The game.
They're only out there 20% of the time. Even if you're an amazing pitcher, Nolan Ryan, or somebody like that, or Clayton Kershaw. I mean, you're playing every 5 games, so you can still be a sorry team. But if
they can compensate for you when you're not out there on the mound.
Yeah, but Tom Brady out there every week. So
every week, every play on the offense. You know what I mean? Like, I just, look, I knew this was going to happen just because I felt like in the end of the day, again, having a week off in the playoffs is not necessarily a blessing. And while you can get players healthy, the players who have been out there need to keep that repetition going. You got to assume that when you have that bye week, there's going to be a few days that you get off where you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Where you're chilling, you're relaxing, you're at home. You might, get a little workout in, but you're not like doing football. You're not actually practicing. So you're not actually like, you're missing time. And it factors in. It changes things just a little bit. And some teams aren't affected by it, but more often than not, like there's a little bit of an effect in it. Kind of a lull, kind of a
tend to come out
start,
a little rusty.
Rusty.
More often than not, unless you have, tremendous leadership. I mean, obviously, I'd rather be the 1 seed than not. I think, in the Super Bowl era, I mean, close to half the time, the top seeds are,
the top seeds have an advantage because they only have to win
for a
one
reason.
game. Yeah, they only got to win one game to get to the conference championship. They only got to win 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. Everybody else has to go through the gauntlet.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you say, I mean, if you spot a team a quarter or a half of that first game because you're coming back a little rusty.
Yeah.
Oh man, we took
struggle to set the tempo, to set the actual narrative of the game in the first half, and the other team is allowed to feel like they're worthy of being on the same stage as you, then there's going to be problems.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be problems, and that's what happened. The Niners already were worthy. I just think that the Packers figured that because of I think they figured because of the environment, because of the setting of the game, that they were going to have an advantage from a physical and a mental standpoint. But San Fran was running around like they were the home team, hitting these cats.
Yeah, and there's only one way to stay in football shape, and that's play football.
That's playing football. So I'm sure that affected them. And again, I mean, it's just very awkward when you look at what happened in the game when Aaron Rodgers threw the ball to my old teammate Mercedes Lewis and he fumbled it. At that point, and really it's one of those things that happen. The ball in those conditions is a much harder ball. It's harder to hold on to because you can't really grip it. It's slick. And Mercedes caught the ball and actually had a good hold on it. But the defender literally, this is what they're taught to do. The defender coming in for the tackle came in and punched downward at the tip of the ball. And it came out. There was nothing he could do about that. It came out. Hell, we'll get to the game where even in less of a extreme environment, the Rams fumbled it all. Oh my God. Cam Akers, we're going to talk about you in a minute. But once that fumble happened, the entire vibe of the game for the Packers completely shifted and changed. They played way more conservative. And I think he only passed it to like a few other people a couple of times in the entire game from the Devontae Adams. I think he only passed it to there was only maybe, I don't know. Let me check. Let me see here. Aaron Rodgers targets.
So yeah, we can find out.
I think he only passed it to let me see. I don't see any. Let me see. Through 20. Let's see.
Looking for the box scores.
He had, let's see. He threw 29 passes, 21 of them. He targets Devontae Adams out of 21 out of 29 passes. Were targeted to Devontae Adams. Dude, that's why you lost. You just kept throwing it to one guy.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. That's a surprise. I knew he only threw it a couple other times to other guys, but really 85% of the 90% of the throws.
And the rest were to Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and then Aaron Jones. Yeah. That's it. That's a recipe for disaster if I ever seen one. Recipe for disaster. So with that, the Packers are gone. The Niners are heading to LA next week or this weekend coming up to take on the LA Rams. And the LA Rams, if I tell you what, I damn sure thought the God mode was coming for them because it did not look good when they allowed this cat to just start charging back. Charging back. But the Rams, who were up 27-3, 27-3.
Almost identical to the Super Bowl. 28-3.
28-3 would have definitely activated Tom Brady's true God mode. And them cats would have lost. And that would have just been that. But it was 27-3. Tom Brady rallies, brings these boys back. 27-27. Part of the reason why they were able to come back was because of Cam Akers fumbling 2 times in the game. He fumbled at the 1-yard line before the half, and he fumbled after the Bucks scored on a deep pass from Tom Brady to Mike Evans over Jalen Ramsey on a one-on-one coverage. He cooked Jalen Ramsey. Well done.
Barbecue chicken.
Oh my goodness. Let me find that before I even get into the walk-off. Let's take a look at that play because man, that cat caught. He just got cooked, straight up cooked. Which look, Mike Evans he's that kind of guy. He is that dude. But you got to be able to hold your shit, my bro. You got to be able to hold it. You got to be able to hold him down. That was a clutch situation. They got the ball back. They were threatening to try and make it a 1-score game, and definitely almost gave it up.
This is Evans against Ramsey. And it is Evans who has made it a game.
I mean, that looked like he looked like a normal defensive back on this play. He just looked like any other defensive back going against his cat.
Right.
Smoked turkey.
This is how most people look.
Chasing. Oh my God, he's got me. He's got me.
The game, it's amazing.
He just stopped.
This
Like,
is
shit.
Like, golly. Should I even keep running?
I mean, he cooked him.
I mean, obviously, if you in this game long enough, you're gonna get got at some point in time.
Oh yeah. Of course. I mean, everybody catches that L on the field. I mean, motherfuckers are getting paid way too much and been doing it way too long for you to just think you're gonna come in there and be perfect.
This was a hell of a time to catch it.
It was just not the right time to take that L. You want to take that L in week 3, week 4, not in the divisional. But the Rams were able to bounce back. They were able to hold it down, and really, somebody who I think has a legitimate argument for the MVP status, Cooper Kupp. That boy made man-to-man coverage look foolish in the last drive. Matthew Stafford, excellent pass off his back foot against zero blitz.
Falling away.
And it put them in position. It put them boys in position. So now, with that, we go to what I like to call the finishing touch. Let's take a look.
Matt Gabe. Boot
And cut. Oh my gosh, amazing game. Buddy, slow down. What are you mad for? You can't be the star of the game. Plus, the Rams even going off the fucking script. They didn't give a fuck anymore. Look, the Riders had you winning, coming back and everything.
I'm sorry, buddy. We did what we could, but they were starting to catch on. They were starting to look.
Yeah, it was like it's fake social media. This is fake. So I was like, oh, we gotta change it. Rams win by 3. Hard fought game by Tom Brady. But you weren't delivering. Thank you. You weren't delivering at all. Like you were throwing balls all over the place. We cut the commercial like 3 times, tried to talk to you. You were mad for real. Brady. Come on, what's going on with this guy? What's going on with this guy? But look, think about it next year. 46-year-old football star wins it again. 8 leagues. Come on, think about it. Think about it. But look, good job, Rams. Good job, people.
Thank you.
Good job, Matthew Stafford. Y'all were actually playing football. Amazing. Sorry we couldn't write it for you this time, Tom Brady. But next time we go, put the camera down. That was rolling or something. Shit. You think you're not going to find out this shit's rigged and then we're all done for. Yeah, you all right? All right, Brady. Look, next year, remember, we just did the reboot this year with Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, but next year, back on Tom Brady, 46-year-old football star, wins it again, comes back by 40. How you like that one? I don't know.
Oh, man. I like that guy. He's really
Hey, man,
good.
RDC World, they make the fucking best skits ever.
I mean, obviously,
Mark
his
Phillips.
forte is LeBron, but
oh my
you can
God,
touch
his
on the
forte is
anime
LeBron, but
and-
this cat, oh my God, anime, they do all the anime, but this shit, when I saw this, I'm telling you, dude, I fell out my damn seat laughing. Because it's like, yo, because people were on Twitter actually talking like, yo, is this shit rigged? It's got to be rigged. Look what's happening. Tom Brady's coming back again. Shit we already seen.
He just made them fumble the ball. Like, oh, he's not playing
And when
defense.
you see Cam Akers fumble 2 times, and I'm like, God damn. I was like, it's just some bullshit. It's about to happen again.
Like, he really gets in people's heads. Even the
I mean, it's something.
offense
I don't know what it is, dude.
the
It's
ball
something
boy,
that just
the trainer.
It's some voodoo or some shit. Like,
Yeah, let us find out he's a Scientologist or some shit. Or
I mean,
God
think
dang.
about it. Like the score was damn near the exact. It was damn near the exact same scenario as it was for the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl. You up 28-3. Rams are up 27-3. Halftime. Really, at halftime, this is the crazy part. It's right before halftime. The Rams are about to go in to score to make this an official like blowout of blowouts.
Yeah.
It would have been what, 34? 34 to 3? How does he fumble at the 1 yard line? He fumbled at the 1 yard line.
Tom's got to be like a Wiccan or something, or you go to his
You know what
house
I mean?
and
This dude
there's
is-
nothing but Ouija boards.
You know what I mean?
This dude ain't normal, man.
This cat fumbles at the 1 yard line. And then even when they get the touchdown for with Mike Evans over Jalen Ramsey, even when they get the touchdown,
Still in good shape.
you're like, I mean, it's too little too late. There's no way they're getting the ball back. All the Rams have to do is just run the ball. They don't even really have to get a first down.
You could
Just
damn near
run it.
kneel it out. You could kneel
You
it
can down there
out.
take a knee. And literally the first fucking run, Ndamukong Suh, fumble. And it's just like, excuse me? What's happening here? What's happening here? What is happening here? And then I'm thinking to myself at that point, okay, this Rams defense, maybe they can hold them. We'll see. 4th and 1. Touchdown. Leonard Fournette.
Playoff league.
Just, I mean, you got a defender who comes firing through the C gap untouched and can't tackle him. And he just runs into the end zone. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Like, oh, that's
They
what we're
might
doing.
have scripted this shit for real. Because this shit isn't supposed to happen. So then the Rams get the ball back, and I'm just thinking to myself, these boys are in. I mean, you know what happens to teams in this situation? They usually collapse, panic and collapse because
Yep.
you were just up 27 to fucking 3.
Yep. You could see them buttholes getting tighter,
And buttholes start
Tighter.
breaking pennies.
tighter.
They start folding pennies with their buttholes. That's how tight they shit is. And this cat, somehow, I don't know what the fuck Tampa Bay was thinking, but they decided we're just going to run cover 0 this whole drive. We're not even going to cover them. We man-to-man, everybody. Blitz them, which
With a depleted secondary.
with the depleted secondary, but there is a strategy for doing that is viable. Putting pressure on the quarterback to try and make him get rid of the ball quick is a viable strategy, but you don't want to do that with no help over the top on anybody. You want to maybe keep it cover 1, bring an extra man, but keep a safety over the top to play center field, to play over the top of the vast majority of the field. These cats went cover 0. They pulled the old Pittsburgh Steelers out of their ass against Tim Tebow. And they just started getting dotted up. And then they go over the top to Cooper Kupp. And, they end up getting scored on to lose. So that's the end of it for them. Now, there are people who were thinking, is this Tom Brady's last game? Is this the end for him? Something tells me I can't see Tom Brady going out without, it's fucked up, but it's like, I can't see Tom Brady quitting until he can quit after winning one more ring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how they going to win one more ring?
Yeah, because they got to blow this shit up. But like you said, he's got to go off, in a blaze of glory. Or, God forbid, an injury, which no one obviously wants to see. But he's coming off a year where he set the NFL record for completions and led the league in yards and all these. I think he led the league in touchdowns.
Still be in his fucking prime.
Yeah, like why would you
stop?
Yeah, like
I just don't get.
Unless Giselle's like in his ear every night, like, look, dude, this is your last go around.
Shit, but it's like, why would they want me to stop? We're still running shit out here. Everywhere we go, we run it. We run the place.
He's probably a fucking miserable guy. Like I don't think that oh, Tom, get away from us. Just go back to your little football.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah. I think he
he's
would
not
be
going to sit around and just drink
person if he didn't have
beers.
Football. Yeah, I think he would be so bored and so pissed off that he wasn't playing that he'd make his family miserable.
I can't imagine him
because
just
he knew he could still play.
Yeah, just out there cutting grass and some New Balances.
You know what I mean? Wearing some dad shorts. Can we see Tom Brady wearing some jean shorts with some New Balances on at a fucking Home Depot? No, you can't see that.
I don't think that's the move for him.
But it's this was another amazing finish. Obviously, we got the skit here, but from RDC, but it's still an amazing finish for the LA Rams. They pull it out. I mean, because like I said, I'm sure everyone thought that we knew what was about to happen to them once they came back and tied it up. But they held them off. So it'll be the Niners and the Rams in NFC title game. And then to end the weekend, we had the game that everybody's talking about now. This is the game
when you thought it couldn't get any better.
When you were like, this is peak football if I've ever seen it in my life. I've never seen football so peak, so fucking completely A+. But of course, the walk-off for the Chiefs against the Bills. And this is, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm torn. I know there's probably some Bills fans in the audience who don't want to see this, but you know, we got to face facts here. We got to face reality. Y'all lost. Yeah, y'all lost. Now, whose fault is it? I know there's a lot of people talking about the overtime system. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear it.
That
Why?
System
because you
Mahomes
had 13 seconds to win the fucking game.
Yep. Well,
you had 13 seconds.
Cowboys couldn't figure it out.
The Cowboys couldn't run one play in 13 seconds. The Chiefs ran 3. And they ran the perfect plays. I mean, this was my first issue. Why in the world would you play a sideline defense when the offense has 3 timeouts? They don't have to go to the sideline.
Right, they could run up the middle of the field. Do anything. I mean, the whole playbook's
They can
open.
run any play they want because they got timeouts.
Playbook is wide open.
Playbook is wide open. The Chiefs, like I said on Twitter yesterday, they were running Madden plays. They were just hiking the ball and throwing to the seam right now because you had defensive backs who were playing off of them. And if I can pull up the plays here, let me see.
These guys are good enough, with Yak that they can just throw some short shit and just run up the field and make up the difference.
This is a quarterback who understands his team so completely. He understands the game plan that just small adjustments that were made by Buffalo to keep them from actually defending made the difference. And I can't find this thing that I was looking at earlier. Damn it. Okay, whatever. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe let's go here. So this is basically what it boils down to. The Buffalo Bills played an off coverage. They played off into the outside instead of playing what I feel like they should have played more pressed up on the Chiefs. Okay, here we go. This is it right here. Now, this isn't exactly what I was looking for, but I'll take it. Dan Orlovsky does a little breakdown here. Dan Orlovsky, he's a little bit annoying, but I think it's worth it to at least take a look at this because this is what really made the difference in their ability to actually have a shot at winning this damn game.
What's he wearing?
Yeah, what is he wearing? What is this? What is this?
A fucking bomber jacket with some tight ass. Forget it.
Your training. The Kansas City ball. What you're going to get is this kind of play concept. You are going to take this guy.
See, I hate hearing them talk. That's the problem. Okay, so first play that they run. 13 seconds left. They run a screen. This is a wide out screen.
Yep.
That's all they do with no linemen. They run a simple little hitch. They pass the ball to Cheetah. And I mean, honestly, he could have took this to the end zone. They're lucky he didn't take this to the end zone.
Yeah, when
But
I saw this unfolding,
this.
I was like, oh shit, he's gonna go score.
Yeah, look at this. Look, what are they doing? Why do you have DBs out here? What are you protecting? They have timeouts. You don't need to protect the sideline. They left the middle of the field wide open. They run a quick receiver screen with a tight end and another a tight end and a running back, I believe, who are doing the blocking here. So you've got bigger bodies in front of him to block while he's doing all his jipper japping. That's 20 yards. That's about 20 yards right there. You just gave up. Like, first mistake. What are you doing defensively? Why would you do that? Now, next play. And this one right here really kind of, I didn't understand this at all. Okay, now one thing that Patrick Mahomes does really well here is he looks off this linebacker. And he shows it here. He looks to his right, and this linebacker literally turns his head and looks to his left to see who's over here. And he does this on purpose just to make this guy look this way so that he can throw it into this massive hole to the left, this massive area of space that no one's in. But you have one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end in the NFL. He's the only receiver on this side of the field. He runs towards this guy to make him back up, and then he just cuts it up right into the open space. Like, why would you? What are you doing?
Now, something kind of struck me when I watched this.
That's another 20 some odd yards, and it's over with. Now you've lost. Okay, I don't need to hear all your talking. I don't need to hear you talk. Like Orlovsky, you ran out of the back of the end zone on the QB scramble. I don't care what you have to say. But that's what lost them the game. That's what lost them the game. They had completely inept defensive strategy late in the game that cost you the game. Cost you the game.
Yeah, that was.
And there's nothing that you can really do for that if you're going to be, if you're planning to try and contend for a championship. Because look, Josh Allen, the dude's a fucking. I mean, he's an amazing player, undeniable. He played the perfect game as a quarterback. He did. But I mean, even at that, you got to know who you're going against. There, I mean, it's like the old meme where you got the Spider-Man who's pointing at each other.
Yeah,
like that was them last night. That really was Mahomes and Allen. They were the same cat, just doing the same thing, balling the fuck out. And I tip my hat to the Buffalo Bills in that regard, because I said that he would have to be. It would all depend on whether or not they could stop Josh Allen, and there was nothing that the Chiefs could do to even stop him. Even when they lost the Honey Badger, Matthew, when they lost him, they lost their secondary, lost its edge. Their secondary lost its discipline because he exposed them almost immediately after that.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he exposed their secondary for the entire game. And he had pinpoint accuracy. 2 drives in a row to dagger these cats away, and he couldn't get it done because he was going against the same exact cat on the other sideline who was just ready to dagger you away. Yeah. And it was all about who's going to have the ball last.
Who gets the ball last, yeah.
And, defense coordinator Leslie Frazier, he had some head coaching offers that people were talking about. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, so Leslie, we're just calling to let you know that we're gonna have to cancel on that. All right, we're gonna have to cancel.
Gotta go in another direction. Well, no, they still gotta have the token Rooney interview, so they'll bring him in.
Yeah, they'll bring him in. Yeah, we'll bring you in, but we're just gonna be honest. After what we saw last night, we're good. We're good. But, this put them in position to tie the game and send it into overtime. Now, the crux of the issue, overtime. I had a ton of debate last night with some people who were in the audience as well about the overtime situation. There's some people, I'm not going to try and, put any kind of number next to it, but there are some people who feel like the overtime rules in the NFL need to be changed. I, for one, do not believe that the NFL overtime rules need to be changed. I, for one, believe that the NFL overtime rules are actually perfectly balanced because it requires each side of the ball to play at a heightened level in order to give your team a chance. Now, I hear a lot of people talking about the coin flip. Hey, you want to know? Let's talk about statistics. Josh Allen in overtimes, he's the one who calls the coin toss. He is 9-0. He was 9-0 before this game in calling the coin toss.
What?
Yes.
Serious?
He had been 9-0 in calling the coin toss in all his playoff games, in all his overtime games. 9-0.
Damn.
So
That's
what?
insane.
He fucked him. He missed on that one. So what? Is that his fault? If you want to talk about it's a coin toss, he didn't call He didn't call it, and Kansas City got the ball to start overtime. Now, that is kind of just semantics. That's not really the point I'm trying to make here. The point I'm trying to make is this game is literally the greatest game in the world because it demands that the team must win the game. And we're talking about 11 on 11 here. We're talking about offense and defense. Should your offense get a chance, even if your defense gives up a touchdown? It's overtime. Where are the stakes? Where are the stakes if you just allow and say, we're just going to play the whole quarter like a regular football game? No, it's overtime. This is a new game, new rules. You either score.
People wanted just like whatever happens at the end of overtime is what we're going to go with.
I think there are people who are arguing that each team should get the ball. I think there are people who are arguing that it should be like college rules. I think there are people who are arguing that you should play like a regular quarter, but then it's just a 5-quarter football game. This is overtime. This is literally single elimination tournament for the greatest fucking to advance to have a chance to advance forward to try and play for a Super Bowl, which is, obviously this is the highest rated sporting event in the world when it happens. But the NFL playoffs, this is different than the regular season. It should not go by regular season rules. I've always felt like if you go out there on defense, they give you multiple outs, multiple ways to stop the offense where you can give up points and not lose the game. Hold them to a field goal. Hold them to a field goal. We've seen defenses do it in the playoffs.
It's possible.
It's possible. We've seen teams do it. Hell, earlier this season, Green Bay and fucking Cincinnati. The fucking kickers missed 5 kicks in overtime before somebody made it. Defenses were holding, forcing field goal attempts, even when the field goal would win it because both teams couldn't score a touchdown. Then it became next score wins. They kept missing field goals. So it's like, come on, man. It's not supposed to be fair. It's really not supposed to be fair. You talk about parity. Parity is each team, your unit, the unit that goes on the field has a chance to win the game. Doesn't have to be the offense. Doesn't have to be the offense.
Yeah, you could get pick six in the game.
How many times have we seen pick sixes in the playoffs in overtime? Hell, the Green Bay Packers did it one year. They were who I think they were playing against Seattle back when Matt Castle was the quarterback. And dude with the long dreads picked them off. First play of overtime. Picked them off. Pick six. Game is over. They advance. Nobody's complaining that the Green Bay's offense should have came out on the field, or nobody said, oh, well, they should have just kept playing, like finish the quarter. No,
And this worked against.
It's overtime. The stakes have been raised. There should be an inherent risk in you making a mistake.
This worked against the Chiefs against Tom in their second Super Bowl, where they'd never got the ball back. If you remember that, Tom took the ball down, touchdown, never got a chance.
Yeah,
it's the knife cuts both ways. You know,
the knife cuts both ways. And in that game, hell, that Kansas City defense, hey, hey, to their credit, them motherfuckers inched their way down the field to get that touchdown. They they didn't just blow past them. They inched their way down there. And Kansas City had every chance. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Boom. Al Harris, that's right. Yeah. Game-winning pick six by Packers. Al Harris in the playoffs in overtime. Ended the game. The defense can score to win the game too. So what greater parity is there that you have in defense and an offense on the field? The offense can't just kick a field goal and win the game. If they kick a field goal, you survive. You get your offense on the field. But the goal is there has to be raised stakes. There has to be higher stakes. It can't just be the same old shit that you've seen in the past 4 quarters. Raise the stakes. I think that's what makes it even more of a competitive, that makes you reach for even higher competitive greatness in that regard than any sport, is that you're not guaranteed your offense is coming back on this field. So if you want to have a chance, you either stop them or you take the ball away or you score yourself.
How much time elapses between the end of the fourth quarter and the start of overtime? Is it instant? Like a commercial break?
Yeah, it's like a commercial break. They take the same amount of time as a commercial break.
I'm
now, if you want to say, hey, both teams were gassed, I'd say, okay, well, then make it like a halftime.
That's what I'm thinking.
Give them a halftime break and then have them start overtime.
Like in hockey, I think they just make another intermission or maybe a 5-minute break or something. There's some type of time, so it's not just because I mean, if your defense goes right back out there, you know, like this, you know, you just got scored on and you lose the toss, it's like you're playing defense twice in a row. Like other sports, they kind of just continue the game. Like if it was baseball, you're tied after 9. The team that was batting first, just start the 10th inning.
Yeah.
And it's still, well, it's different because it's not timed. It's just by outs. I'm trying to think of a sport that does it like that. Because basketball, you would still have another tip-off, wouldn't you?
Basketball, you keep
side
going.
out.
It's another quarter. Quarter. But see, it's different with those games because in basketball, you're scoring every like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
you're scoring immediately. So there's no reason for it to be high stakes where only one side, like you're playing.
No one has a
different dynamic.
Sudden death. Even soccer, they still play. You play a full.
They play 2 extended periods and then they go to penalty kicks.
Yeah, you play.
So they play 2 20-minute periods
or something. Yeah,
and then they go penalty kicks.
So no one has true. Does hockey have?
There's no real stakes. You just continue playing the game.
I think hockey is sudden death.
Hockey is.
I believe it's sudden
I think
death.
hockey is sudden death. First goal is done with.
And they always have a face-off. It's not a coin toss.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anything, I could see people arguing for something that's related to the sport to decide who gets the ball. That's the only thing I can. That's the only thing I could go with. Like you have a chance to score on defense. You have a chance to, stop the other team holding to a field goal. That's the only thing. Because at least in hockey, a face-off is part of the game. Now, maybe you can go find like the world's best coin toss caller. I can, look at the rotations and say, well, no, you got to call it before they flip it. So I don't know. That's the only thing
I mean, it's
you can argue with me.
It's
but like
difficult.
You said, I'm with you.
Yeah, no, it's difficult to try and picture these things for football because football is a different beast than these other games.
Yeah,
it's not the same. Like, can you imagine if they played two more full quarters?
No fucking
where they just
way.
Traded touchdowns back and
PA
forth?
would never go for that.
Do you expect that any one of those teams, whoever won, do you expect that they would be able to win the next week? Their defense would give up everything all game long. The team would be exhausted.
Yeah, if I play a whole
recovery
extra 15
between
minutes,
games. Yeah,
just hard enough as it
let's say
is.
they played 6. Let's say they played the equivalent of like 6 quarters. And the only way that let's say Buffalo comes out the winner because a pick is thrown on the last drive by Kansas City. Well, Buffalo's going to get their ass ran the next week.
Yeah.
They're going to get ran.
I'm sure you're going to have a much higher likelihood of injuries as well.
And you're going to have injuries. You're going to have, I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong that probably will go wrong because you're now extending a 3.5 hour game into basically like a 5.5 to 6 hour game. That's not possible. That's not fair. That ain't fair because they will be at a disadvantage to whoever they play against.
Yeah, there's not a perfect way to do this.
The next week.
There really isn't. I mean, there's always going to be.
So I feel like it's the perfect balance. It forces one team, as in offense or defense, to step up because it's not. Look, I think that I saw a statistic. Don't quote me on this, but I saw a statistic that said in 2020, in this 2021 season, there has been over 20 overtime games, and the first possession won the game in only 5 of those games.
Okay.
So there is precedent of defenses coming out to start overtime and stopping the offense.
I mean, let's be honest. Last night, it was just going to be whoever got the ball first.
It was going to be whoever got the ball first. We knew that because of how on fire the quarterbacks were.
That's just how that particular game was going.
That's how that game was going to go.
Because
I mean, let's think about it like this.
Yeah.
If Josh Allen got that ball first, you saw what the fuck he did to their secondary.
Yeah, the Chiefs fans are going to be sitting here arguing the same shit.
It would have been Chiefs fans saying, "Oh hell no!" But you know that's what it is. It's all about who gets it first in that regard because you know your quarterbacks are fucking beasts, and you just know that hey, if we got a good chance, regardless of what happens, if we win this toss, we got a good chance. Now let's take a look and say, let's look at like Green Bay and San Fran.
San Fran.
If that game goes to overtime, I'm not so sure that Green Bay scores if they get the ball first.
Yeah, we could easily be looking at, in that instance, a full
multiple
quarter.
possessions, maybe even finishing out a quarter without nobody scoring.
Yeah, I could easily picture that the way that game was going.
It's just all about how the game was going. So in that regard, there was a lot of different variables, but I think from a competitive standpoint, there is no greater level of competition than the overtime in the NFL. Like it is the most extreme version of a competitive like greatness, because again, you are literally asking one side of one part of your team to step the fuck up. There is no tomorrow.
Like you said, the stakes go through the roof. One mistake.
Stakes go through the roof. One mistake can be
it.
And again, they even gave the defense a little bit of an out so that they're not, what's cheap?
Because it used to be
just running for 3 or 4 yards to carry and then just kicking a field goal.
You can kick a field goal. You could have kicked the field goal
and just win the game. Now that to me is bullshit because that doesn't really.
It's
that's
pretty
not
easy
really
to get.
Giving anybody. There's nothing for the defense to have a way to counter with.
Yeah, I just gotta get to the 35, roughly 40. Maybe
don't
some
even have to
the
get
45.
In the end zone. Get to the 35 and it's over. No, not anymore. They gave the defense an out. You can give up that field goal and your team gets the ball. Now, if your team scores a touchdown, it's over. Now, if they were able to stop and hold the Chiefs to a field goal, which we all knew wasn't going to happen, but let's say that they did, Josh Allen's going to come out and they're going to score a touchdown, and it's going to be game over.
Yeah.
That's why the stakes are through the roof, and that's what makes it that much more entertaining. I don't want to watch these cats play another full quarter of football. That's you're going to start seeing guys drop.
Yeah. Between cramps and all sorts. I mean, just being exposed to more collisions.
Being exposed to more violence, more head collisions, because guys' technique is going to start falling off because they're getting tired.
And you're still at risk the following week because of a shorter recovery and the extra
then you get a shorter
hole
recovery.
you put in your body.
you put 2 more quarters or a quarter more of work in. So now your body is you're going to be playing at a quarter deficit when you go to play the next team. And now let's say,
if you're playing on the Sunday and they played on Saturday.
You know what I mean? And what if you play it on Saturday? You know what I mean? You don't even get the whole week.
So, I mean, I agree with you from the standpoint of, let's get as little extra time as possible. First off, give everybody a chance. Because like you said, there is a chance to stop them. You can play defense and stop somebody from scoring on you. The only thing I would argue is I wish there was a way it could be a football-related skill that decided who got the ball.
Who got the ball? I think maybe they should do a kick. Maybe each kicker should do a 50-yard kick. Best out of 3.
Yeah, something like that. That's not going to tax everybody. It's pretty fucking easy.
Or you do a 55
then you're
yard
going to end
55 yards would be the edge range for most kickers.
Because I was going to say, because nowadays these kickers, you might be up here, 10 minutes.
Yeah, they're smashing
a motherfucker
50-yarder like that shit ain't nothing.
These guys are kicking 50-yarders with their off foot. I mean, so something like that, like an uncontested. So no
uncontested.
No
it's
rush.
Just literally uncontested. There's no risk of injury from anyone else. You both take a 55-yard kick, and you do 3 of them, right? Each one does 3 kicks. See, that's going to take 10-15 minutes to do. But 3 kicks, one from the middle, and then one from each hash.
Each hash.
So you got to be able to kick it,
Yeah,
and you're both kicking the same way. So,
I mean, and we're just spitballing this here. I mean,
yeah, we're
obviously,
spitballing. Yeah.
I mean, we haven't put like a whole shitload of thought into this, but there's got to be something where it's. I mean, and granted, yes, okay, a coin toss is going to be 50-50 in a vacuum, or I guess anytime. But I wish there was some type of way that it could be.
I mean, one could even say, hey, the coin toss, you got a 50% chance.
I mean,
you're literally 50-50. And the dude he was 9-0. The quarterback was 9-0 on him.
But then you can say he was due for a loss.
Which means he was due to lose one. Yes.
But that's just like going and putting it on black. You can't do roulette like that. I can't say, oh man, like, it's been red 10 times in a row. That don't mean it can't be red again.
It can't do it again. It can't do it again. I tell you what, here's a quick little story from a Vegas trip I had. I played Baccarat, right? I shit you not. And if you know how to play Baccarat, anybody in the audience who knows how to play Baccarat, it's the best odds in Vegas. It's 50-50. It's a coin flip, basically. I mean, I think I won about 80,000 betting on the player spot. And I swore, and I mean, I have a picture somewhere on my phone. The player spot, because it's player versus bank. Player wins, you get paid. Bank wins. If you play bank, you get paid, but you pay a little bit of interest to the bank. So most people will play player. I have a picture of this, but I'd have to dig through my phone to find it. I won, I think, around close to 80,000 playing on player. And it was unbelievable because on this shoe, the player spot won 36 times in a row. I mean, I missed on like 4 of them because I was like, there's no way I can continue to do this. So I switched my bet. Boom, it won again. I'm like, oh my God. Man, yeah, but I took a picture next to the screen with my face. I was smiling. I was like, yeah, because it was all blue dots. I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
But it can happen. But yeah, once you get to like 9 wins, like 9 correct calls, you're like, there's no fucking way. They're not going to let this continue to happen. But that's basically what happened with Josh Allen. You know, he there was no way. Hey, he just called it wrong, and you could tell because as soon as he called it wrong, and them Kansas City Chiefs players were like, yeah. They was like, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. We got this one. Shit, I'd have been hyped too. Them cats can't stop us.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much like the win at that point. Like, we got this thing.
Man.
Was it also Hasselbeck that said we're gonna take the ball, we're gonna go fucking score?
It was. There's who somebody put that on here. Let me pull it back up. Yep, here we go. Hasselback, we're going to take the ball and we're going to score. He throws a pick on the first fucking play. So, see, it can go both ways. And that's the beauty of it. If you got a defense that has playmakers and guys who are willing to take a risk, I mean, shit, look what happened. It wasn't overtime, but look at what happened for the Patriots. The Patriots were cooked, and the Seahawks had them at the 1 yard line. And somebody just decided, I'm going to take a risk. And he just broke on it based on what he's seen in film and just broke and made the pick that won the game. And it was over just like that. Can happen. Can happen. So do I believe that there should be changes to the overtime? Not in the structure of how the teams play on the field, because that is football. Yep. Your defenders are paid to play defense. And they are very capable of doing to the offense what the offense is trying to do to them, score. They're capable of it.
Yeah, there were times in the game that they didn't score. I mean,
yeah,
the punter. I mean, hell, at some point, shit.
The Chiefs were up 10 points, and hey, they had to have a defensive stop from Buffalo to be able to catch up. They were down 10. Their defense made stops, and then Josh Allen scored, took them down the field to score. So, there's so many examples of why, overtime is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's plenty of examples. Now, the coin toss situation, hey, it is what it is. But again, even with all of that being said, the fucking Bills had 13 seconds to win. Can't fuck up. You knew that this team was not going. First off, you should have squibbed that ball all the way down the middle of the field and made somebody touch it so that the clock could start. Even if they jump on it and dive to the ground and declare them and give themselves up, there's still at least 1 or 2 seconds coming off that clock, which is enough.
Yeah,
it's
enough. Now you're looking at 11 seconds to get, let's call it 65. Well,
and there's no guarantee that I mean, hell, you know how sometimes those squib kicks goes. Sometimes the squib goes all the way to the 5 or to the 5 yard line, and the guy has to pick it up. Yeah. He's not going to declare himself down right there. He's going to get it and run.
Or maybe one of the upbacks, I don't get the ball.
Maybe
it
takes a crazy hop and hits somebody in their stomach, and they can't control it. Well, the clock starts.
Yeah, give yourself, every available opportunity.
They had a chance
for them to make a mistake.
They had they had 2 opportunities to actually decide their fate, and they chose wrong. They kicked the ball through the back of the end zone, which means you've given them the full 13 seconds, and you think that this quarterback can't get the ball, 30 yards? Yeah, he can. Then you played completely bogus prevent coverage when all they need is a field goal. You think they're not trying to win, they're trying to get to overtime. And that's what cost them at the end of the day. That's what cost them, and that's why they asked is at home with a team that should have been, a team that had a great chance of advancing to the AFC title game. And I feel bad for them because I picked the Bills. I didn't pick them in this game, but I picked them at the beginning of the season to threaten to go to the Super Bowl because I like Josh Allen. I like his style of play. I like that he's a big physical quarterback, and he runs, and he can pass with as good as accuracy as the top quarterbacks in the NFL. I love a quarterback who can do that. That's what Patrick Mahomes is. He's a quarterback who can run, who's thick, but who can also pass with the most precise level of accuracy that you'll find in the NFL. That's there. That's what makes those guys a completely different breed of quarterback than anything we've ever seen before.
Yep.
And they just ended up having to play each other. This is the game you would have said, hey, this should have been the Super Bowl.
I wish this could have, because if there was a consolation bracket, I mean, I think the Bills would win that walking away.
Oh yeah, they'd win it and be the consolation champion.
It breaks my heart that it had to happen, this early. It couldn't at
because
least be
we shouldn't have got this game this early. This game should have been happening in a week or 2.
Now, if one of these conference championship games is even better than this, I'll shut the hell up. But
yeah. But I mean, it's gonna take. I mean, I can't see it. I can't see the Bengals being on fire. I won't say I can't. I won't say I can't see them being on fire the way I saw Josh Allen be on fire, because Joe Burrow is another quarterback who's kind of like that too, and he's young, so he hadn't even really he hadn't even grown the hair on his chest that we know he's gonna have in a few years.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he doesn't know yet.
You know what I mean? He don't know it yet. He's gonna be he's a dog right now, but he's gonna be a wolf in about a year or two. You know what I mean? Once he gets an O-line in front of him now, I'll tell you one thing. Hey,
it's gonna be a long day.
It's gonna be a long day if them boys giving up their butt like they was last week.
Chris Jones gonna be drooling on his fucking chest right now. Ugh, like
you know for a damn fact that them boys is watching that film just salivating like, oh shit. It's gonna be some new booty tonight. It's gonna be some new booty tonight.
Fresh meat.
Joey B.
Oh, yo.
Giving it up.
Cincy has to figure something out in this next.
Cincy gotta they better have a hell of a game plan because them cats are gonna be coming. Pause.
Yeah, this ain't
pause.
They gotta figure out something else. This ain't it. I don't know if you can afford to turn the whole game or chip and
run the turn protection all game long. Zone it.
You got to figure something out.
Running no slide protection against these cats.
Yeah, they're gonna
be killing them one-on-one matchups.
Yeah, they got to figure something out.
With all that being said, folks, that's going to be it for this one. This is our review night. We review the previous week's action, and we've done that. So we appreciate you guys for being in here with us. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Showing some love. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Share this video, share this stream out with your friends. Again, for those of you who got in here a little bit later, Kate Quigley was supposed to be our guest tonight. She was unable to make it because of an emergency she had to handle, but she will be rescheduling with us if her Rams make it through. Hey, we might be talking about a little Super Bowl preview with her as one of our co-hosts, but we might be able to get her to come in on Wednesday. I do have another special guest coming on Wednesday as well, though. So we'll see about that. We'll see about getting her rescheduled to join us on the live stream. She definitely sends her regards. She wanted to be here today. She was actually setting up to jump in with us when the situation came up. So wishing her the best, but we will be on with her again soon. We'll get everything set up to reschedule her again. But that is going to be it for us here. Me and my boy Justin Blaylock. We are your linemen of Lineman Life. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you all on Wednesday as we go into our championship weekend tier maker on Wednesday night. Make sure you bring you a beer for that one, because we're gonna go with some deep dives, because it's gonna be a crazy weekend this week in the NFL. But until then, we will catch all of you. Hope everyone has a wonderful night, and we will see you on Wednesday.
Peace.
Peace.